Up next, we have one of the biggest reasons we put this show together. A boundary-pushing artist, DJ and musician, a crypto-savvy entrepreneur. He's truly one of a kind. Internationally known, he plays over 200 shows a year all over the world. I've been a big fan of his for years. And together, we're going to make history by tokenizing him and launching the Gramatik token. The one and only Gramatik.
Hey, what's up? This is Gramatik. I come from Porto, which is a town off the Mediterranean coast on the northern border of Italy. I started doing this when I was pretty much in 7th, 8th grade. It would be hard to define my music. If I have to, there would be, I don't know, some sort of a mixture between hip-hop and electronic music and mixed with funk and soul, I guess. I just never looked at music making as a competition of any sort. It's just art, you know. I'm not trying to compete with any other artists or anything. I'm just trying to make the music that I like, that I think it would be like worth listening to. For me to release my own music whenever I want to, you know. Like not having to deal with any middleman, anything, you know, just release my own music and on my own terms and my own label without not having to talk to anybody about it, you know. I just want to get all that bureaucracy out of the way because it's just fucking annoying. You know? I just want to make music, so. I think that internet shouldn't be regulated and everybody's trying so hard to pass all these bills that would make some sort of like Nazi Germany on the web where we have no rights, no freedom, completely destroys the internet as we know it, which is totally unacceptable. It's the last free thing we have, you know.
Gramatik, man, it's so good to have you here.
Nice to be here,
man. It's really great.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I'm a big fan. And,
thanks.
And when I discovered Bitcoin and decentralization and this whole movement, it's pretty much the exact same time that I discovered your music as well.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So I see it energetically going hand in hand. It's like perfect that now we're talking about blockchain tech, decentralized computing, Ethereum, and SingularDTV.
Yeah, it's actually, I was really excited when you hit me up because I was, ever since I found out about blockchain and Bitcoin like about 4 years ago, I've been waiting for like a startup-based platform to utilize this revolutionary technology to change our industry and the shitty ways of it, you know? So
yeah,
I was really excited when you hit me up and I saw the video that you guys were discussing about Bowie doing that thing on Wall Street, you know, like in the 80s, and it really blew my mind in a way. You know? Like I think doing that stuff in the blockchain world would be like even the next level of that, because he gets to be with the people, you know.
Absolutely. No, it's a good point too, because okay, Bowie started this off, right? Yeah. But still, it's Wall Street.
Yeah, only Wall Street people were able to buy in, right?
Yeah. So you kind of had to be in the know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, okay, they made this structure and everything, and they did it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And
the core idea of it was great, you know.
Yeah. But the technology wasn't there to actually do something like that and really bring it out to the people.
Yeah. If he was here today, I think he'd be totally down to do it with the blockchain. I'm pretty sure he'd be like, "Oh, you guys are doing what I wanted to do in Wall Street, but I couldn't to this extent. Yeah, let's do it."
Yeah. Maybe he'd be sitting right here.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, for sure.
Instead of me.
No, come on, man. No, but it's really great because, now it's just, there's so much synergy and synchronicity going on, and we have the tools now, and, we can take it to the next level.
Yeah, so. Exactly. That's why I'm really excited to be here and to be able to be a part of it, you know.
And, it's one of these things, too, where we need to show an example to other artists how to do it.
Because I think that if artists can usually be like weary about stuff like this, because
well, maybe in my world, in EDM world, they're more tech savvy than some other music industry parts, you know. But most of the time, they're like, yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff, and I don't think I want to be involved until I see somebody else do it successfully first, you know.
Right.
With me, it's always been like, yeah, I want to dive head in, and whatever happens, happens, you know. Like it was been like this since like peer-to-peer sharing, you know, and torrents and stuff, you know. So.
You know, that's a great. I mean, that's a great example of really decentralization.
Yeah.
BitTorrent, peer-to-peer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where, I mean, you've been familiar with that. For a
Yeah.
long time.
That's basically how I, you know, kind of blew up, because my whole thing in the beginning was I was tied to some smaller label. I was releasing some stuff on a smaller label that were trying to do it the old school way, and I was really frustrated with that. So I just ended up leaving and putting my entire discography on Pirate Bay, and you know, being like, here it is. Posted Pirate Bay links on Facebook before they were being blocked, you know.
Yeah.
And people really liked that approach, and like they were like, you know, I put the links to my entire discography for free on my website and put donate buttons for PayPal on it. So it was that the whole thing got me started, because people were like, holy shit, this is really generous and great of you, and like we want to donate now because you are not forcing us to buy your music like everybody else is doing and calling us criminals, cyber criminals and stuff like that. For me, it was like, it made sense because I started out, you know, I come from a working class family, and I started out making music with pirated software like everybody else. They can't afford all that expensive software. And even back then in like 99, 2000, there wasn't that much available, and like what was there was expensive, you know. It made sense because like the entire like torrent community, and even the illegal part of it, enabled people like me who couldn't afford it when we were still kids. I wasn't able to get a job when I was 12 years old to pay for all the software that I needed to start making music. You know, everybody else is doing it, so I did it. And once I started gaining success, I thought it would be the only right thing to do is, okay, my music's going to be primarily free, because that's how I was getting my music too. All the albums from people I was listening to, you know.
Yeah, but you know, the amazing thing about it is, you know, doing that, having this free model, especially after you've blown up, I mean, that starts to curate your own kind of audience.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah. The people who are like-minded and think of in technology and the way they understand the internet of today, what it means, what it represents, how it can be utilized for people who don't come from privilege, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that attracted all those people, you know, those people became my fans who were like-minded in that way, and utilized all these technologies on the internet that I found very useful, and I wouldn't be here without them, without this possibility.
It's like a fan base, though, more than just those who dig your music, man.
Yeah.
It's like a
the philosophy,
philosophy, exactly.
You would have you wouldn't believe how many times I get, you know, when people donate to me, they donate not only to support the music, but they say, I'm donating because I support your philosophy. Yeah. I like what you're doing. I wish the entire industry was like this. Right. You know, and it means a lot to me, because sometimes they donate more than the album would actually cost, you know, just because they really appreciate that they have an option. Like people tell me, you have no idea, there was a time in my life I was really broke. I couldn't afford anything, barely food, and I could download your entire discography for free. And that saved my life. And then when I got back on my feet, I came back and I gave you this much money to as a thank you for the time that I couldn't pay for your music, you know. And that, I think, is just something that I even learned from my fans, that I didn't even know it's going to be perceived that way. So you have, you know, your art and your philosophy. I mean, that makes a movement right there. Exactly. Yeah. And this is what we're seeing here with this entire blockchain movement. I view this as the next level of that, as like an organized, like more implemented, evolved version of that. You know? Yeah, I'm constantly being told, you know, marketing-wise, messaging-wise, to like not be so technical, to not maybe talk about it as a movement, but man, I mean, it's what it is. It is, because it's more than just, you know, technological advancement. It's cultural, societal. It's evolution as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's digital evolution. Yeah, digital evolution. I think it's evolution of the mind and spirit. It all goes together. Yeah, and it's about this, you know. And I talk about this a lot, that this movement, this blockchain technology, it's a mindset, man. I mean, it's like decentralized mindset. Yeah. And it's just amazing, because where you've come from with BitTorrent and with your, you know, your free model and all that,
that's, I mean, you're right there.
Exactly, yeah.
You
That
know?
was the beginning of it, where the idea of this type of decentralized culture was still being developed, and they were trying different things. And I think like once you really realize what it means to what decentralized technology means, I don't think you can think of it in any other way anymore.
Yeah.
You can't think of the future with technology in any other way.
You can't undo it.
Yeah, you
know?
cannot do it in your brain, and everything else seems counterproductive. You
Yeah.
know?
It seems like stepping backward into the Stone
Yeah,
Age.
exactly. Like we're trying to going back to a system that was in 1940s, like economically. What's happening right now too, and politically.
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
So tell me, how did you discover, you discovered Bitcoin?
Yeah.
How did you discover that?
I don't remember exactly how it was, but maybe, I think somebody like alerted me to it on the internet. I was talking to somebody and was like, you know about cryptocurrencies or something like that. I can't remember precisely, but I remember it was like about 4 years ago, and I kind of like, I was like, wait, what? Like somebody actually created a cryptocurrency, decentralized, and they're not dead, haven't been killed.
Well,
like,
we don't know. We don't
exactly.
know who Satoshi Nakamoto
And then
is.
the first thing, any computer person does, I'm gonna Google the shit out of this,
Yeah.
So I was Googled Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency, and I realized, holy shit, this was done by somebody who is still anonymous, that nobody knows if it's a person or if it's a group of people,
Right.
and I was
or the CIA,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
maybe a time traveler from the future.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And it just blew my mind, and all these little things in my brain started lighting up, as I was still a kid and an adult at the same time, seeing like science fiction based stories about this.
Yeah, man.
And also like all the possibilities that this means for the future, So it was like, holy, this is something else. Like, this is for real. At first, I thought it was a scam.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
try to talk to some of my friends who are way more knowledgeable about technology than I was, and they were like, no, this is for real. Like,
It's crazy too, because Bitcoin was unleashed in 2008, around the same time that the international crash happened.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
economic crash.
Yeah.
And I think that was partly
It's
the
very
reason
suspicious. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
suspicious, and it's like if somebody was within the system that didn't like what the system was doing,
Yeah.
that saw it clearly what Wall Street and what the banks were doing, and they were like, and possessed the necessary technological and mathematical knowledge to pull something like this.
why. Amazing.
And I guess maybe one day we'll find out, but we don't know. But it seems to me like there had to be a team. This couldn't be one person. Like Satoshi Nakamoto has to be a group of people.
would
in
think,
my
right?
mind, unless because if otherwise this person is the greatest genius in
Seriously, right.
technological genius that we've ever encountered.
Give that person the Nobel Prize for
Yeah.
something.
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
So when you discovered Bitcoin, did it influence your music or change your music or your methodology at all?
Well, it did, like the way I view things and the way I wanted to do things in the future. And as I said, like I was like, well, this sounds really promising if somebody would fund a startup to utilize to distribute music and films and any kind of art that's made digitally,
Yeah.
and consumed digitally in a way that would benefit everybody, not just privileged people,
Absolutely.
and people with connections, but everybody that has a voice and a talent,
Yeah.
And that's what I've been waiting for. Like basically, that's what changed in my mind. I've been like, I hope somebody can do a startup that's actually successful, and I can be part of it in some way.
It's great to have you being a part of it.
Here we are, yeah.
Yeah. So it's amazing though, because SingularDTV is all about empowering artists with the ability to be their own economy.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's about taking your value, what you have to give, and tokenizing it.
Yeah.
And then creating those tokens, and then being able to distribute them to your fans, to your audience, to people around the world.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, this is really a way in which you're giving value out. I mean, this is real value. I mean, embedded in the Gramatik token is not only what your rights and your revenue and control in that, it's like your ethos, it's your philosophy. People want a part of that. It makes you into a multi-million-dollar tokenized ecosystem.
Yeah.
That you can that is completely fueled by the people, by your
Exactly,
fans.
yeah.
So anytime that you want to create something, all you do is drop a few tokens in the cryptosphere,
Yeah.
and off you go, man.
Exactly.
You're on tour, you're making a movie, you're making an album, you're doing what, you're just creating.
Exactly, and that's what's the most exciting about the whole idea, because I think deep down, even the artists who don't realize it yet, that's what you want.
Man,
that's what you dream about, you know? Like being completely autonomous and free to make your art the way you want it without anybody controlling you. And that was the reason why I started using torrents and peer-to-peer and doing it myself, and instead of being tied to a major label and a slave deal and doing what I don't want to do, you know, in order to, so I can do what I want to do, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so counterproductive, it makes no sense, but that's the old system, that's the world we're living in, you know?
Let's set up your tokenized ecosystem, your Gramatik token, so we can launch it out to the world.
Yes, let's do it.
We'll launch it at the right time, and when we do, the whole world will know, and they'll be able to participate in the Gramatik economy now.
It's awesome. I'm really excited about it.
Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Let's blaze some trails.
Hell yeah.
All right.